Minister for Social Services.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Mr Deputy Speaker, it is a concern. The people of Australia are under threat. They're under a threat from the opposition with no plan. They're under threat from an opposition and a leader of the opposition who use scare tactics on the most vulnerable people in our community. They stop at nothing to play politics with those in need. The Leader of the Opposition is an expert at spruiking the spin, but he never has a plan. He never has a real solution, and he never has the support for when we come up with actions to deliver for families, for working Australians and for those with disability in our community. Mr Deputy Speaker, if the Leader of the Opposition had any true reason to support the people who need it most, he would support the current legislation in this parliament. He would support our plan for childcare reforms, which will assist more than 1 million Australian families and make childcare more affordable, will make childcare more flexible and will make childcare more accessible for people who need it most. These reforms will provide better futures for our children and positive relief where it hits families the most, the back pocket. And that's the point, Mr Deputy Speaker. If we want to support families in Australia today, we need to help them with the rising cost of power. And yet those on the other side support reintroducing a carbon tax. They support 50% renewables. They don't care about the cost of power, about the cost of energy for the people who need to pay it, the families. I'm sorry, I take that interjection. They're saying give them a supplement. Where from? Where are the savings that you're going to find the supplements to supplement and compensate people for another spectacular carbon tax like your last one? Yes, bring up more taxes. That's the way to solve your problems. That's because you support the Greens who want to introduce taxes. Or do you have a magic pudding where you just keep spending money 3 times over? That is the problem, Mr Deputy Speaker, with those opposite. They really don't understand basic economics. They don't understand that you can't use the same money 3 times over. They don't understand that when Wayne Swan says he's delivered a surplus, he hasn't.
The Assistant Minister will use members by their correct title.
Oh, sorry. I do apologise. They don't understand that when the former Treasurer, the member for Lilly, Mr Swan, said he delivered a surplus, in fact, those on the opposite side were so excited they printed brochures declaring that delivered a surplus. Sadly, they hadn't. Even their forward estimates, Mr Deputy Speaker, which indicated a surplus from where they were going to take money to pay for NDIS, resulted in an $18 billion deficit. Bit of a difference from a surplus, and that's the problem with their economic and fiscal irresponsibility on the other side of this chamber. Mr Deputy Speaker, the Coalition does have a plan. The other plan we have that is in legislation in front of this parliament today is supporting those mothers who get no paid parental leave at the moment. They're the people they should be caring about, the hundreds, the thousands of mothers or would-be mothers out there who don't get any paid parental leave at all. And yet they're blocking that legislation. They're stopping the most needy in our community from getting any support at all. They should be ashamed of the lack of support for women and for mothers and for families in this community. Mr Deputy Speaker, the NDIS is indeed a life-changing program. It is, as I said, the Labor Party, great architects, very bad at delivering. In fact, incapable of delivering everything they do. Pink bats, you name it, they're incapable of delivering these programs. And once again, they are not delivering the funding so that we can roll out NDIS to everyone. So, Mr Deputy Speaker, how can we ever trust the hypocrites who present the common man yet again and their failure to provide for the future by imposing debt? They impose debt on families, they impose debt on the working person, and, Mr Deputy Speaker, they're imposing their socialist, their lack of funding on the working families of Australia and the most vulnerable in our community. Even the Leader of the opposition before in his speech once again brought up that wonderful Mediscare campaign that they dared to inflict on our community. As the Prime Minister says, the problem with socialists is they soon run out of other people's money.
Before I call him in for long, I might remind